Health with Chris Whitting.
A report from the National Safe Kids campaign found that for kids 10 to 14, 45% of accidental deaths occur May through August. Here's Angela Michelide.
What you're experiencing in the summer is three forces converging that make it riskier for kids. The first is the fact that they are not sitting in the relative safety of their classroom. During the summer, they're out on the street, on the playground, near open bodies of water. The second is that there are simply more hours in the day for kids to be engaging in these activities. The third reason is our patterns of supervision in this country have changed dramatically over the last few decades. We have 2/3 of women with children 18 and under working, and of course the men are working as well.
A summer safety checklist for kids and adults is available at safekids.org. With Checkup on Health, I'm Chris Whitting.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Exam 4 needs to be sanitized.
Mersana's MRI clinic isn't operating at max efficiency. She needs a new certified tech certifiably now.
Someone's waiting in room 2 for an ACL scan. Can you handle that?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Joan Esposito, and here at WCPT, we love pets. So much that we're spotlighting an adoptable, adorable dog or cat every month. So many deserving pets are waiting for their forever home. We've partnered with community shelters and our sponsors, Love for Dogs Pet Grooming and Mark Drugs, to talk about why rescue is best. It's all on Joan Esposito Live, Local and Progressive. See our current adoptable at WCPT820.com.
Windows down, crisp air, and a pleasant breeze. It's time to get into the driver's seat of the new 2021 Porsche Macan from the Porsche Exchange and fly. Featuring a powerful 2.0-liter four-cylinder turbo engine and all the comfort, technology, and performance you've come to expect from Porsche. Lease your new Macan for just $739 a month for 36 months. Only at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Expect the exceptional. Visit us at 4Porsche.com. The number 4, Porsche.com. $4,079 due at face inception. Plus tax, title, license, and doc fee. No security deposit required. See dealer for details.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, Howard. It's a beautiful day.
It's gorgeous.
It's been a beautiful
happy
weekend.
Fall,
happy
everybody.
Fall. Yes, it's officially fall since we were here last.
Yeah, it became fall this week.
Yeah, it did.
It was very exciting.
We had a full moon.
I bust out my
fall.
fire pit.
I saw.
3 times.
I
I've
haven't
had
been
it
able
already
to.
this week.
Good for you.
Girl, I need to get like a new job just so I can afford firewood.
I know firewood's
because I've been going through it already.
Don't buy it by the bundle. Get a bunch of it.
Oh, I know. But we're going to get our neighbors in to go in to do.
I did that too.
To do the whole thing. Yeah, we're going to be doing that. But I love a fire. Like
I love
we were
a fire.
gathered around with the neighbors this week. Like, come on, it's Wednesday. It's the first day of fall. Let's come on in. And we had s'mores. I made chili for people. And we sat outside and it was lovely and everything. They're like, well, how much wood do you go through? Like, well, we, went through like a half a cord and that was just plenty of for us for winter. And I'm like, ooh, no, we went through at least 2.
2
cords.
Full cords?
I make a fire every night. Last year, especially when I wasn't going anywhere.
I'm a big firebug, so coming from...
Well, when we weren't going anywhere last year,
right,
we had a fire in the fireplace every night.
Yeah.
So we've got a wood-burning fireplace. And then with those little bonfire things, that's at least, because I do buy bundles, you go through a bundle of wood.
Oh,
just
yeah.
for that. So, yeah, anyway. Poor me.
Poor you.
Wah. Me and my sad little bonfires going on.
No, it's not sad. They're beautiful. I love a fire.
I know. I love them too. They're great. S'mores a go-go. There we go. And I also love our show today. We got another jam-packed show today. It's great. So Brian Johnson, CEO of Equality Illinois, is author of the new book right here, Our Fair Share, How One Small Change Can Create a More Equitable American Economy. Super excited to have him on the show. It's very fascinating read. I can't wait to talk to him about some of his theories about.
Good for him writing about the inequities in the world.
And then M.A.D. Rhythms. It's like Making a Difference Dancing. That's what M.A.D. stands for. It's their Chicago's premier tap collective. They're continuing their 20th anniversary season with the return of the annual Chicago Tap Summit, which is next weekend, October 1st to the 3rd, at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. And we're going to be speaking with founder and artistic director Bril Bennett, going to be joining us later on in the show. And of course, Reeling Film Festival rolls along. We got to go to the opening night on Thursday, which was fabulous. And we're going to be speaking with Emily Branham, director of the documentary Being Bebe, that charts 15 years in the life of Bebe Zahara Benet, an immigrant from Cameroon who became the first winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm a huge Bebe.
I am now too. I wasn't,
I love me some Bebe.
Yeah.
She's great. She's gorgeous.
She is. She really. Boy, does she transform. I mean, just
from Marshall into Bebe.
It's just incredible.
It's amazing. There's a winner. There's a reason why she's a winner.
Yeah, there is.
She's amazing. And so beyond excited. I've been trying to get this person on for 7 years. And now
here she is.
Yeah, she's here. Well, she's a she or they. She or they. So
she's fluid.
Yes. A comedian, author, and podcaster, Cameron Esposito. She is returning to Chicago, one of our Chicago hometown favorites, for a one-night only performance at the Den Theater on October 2nd. And we are giving away tickets later on this show. So you want to make sure that you get that. I mean, if you've never seen Cameron Esposito perform, she's great, funny.
I watched some of her YouTubes. Really, she's a brilliant,
smart cookie, and she's done so much for the Chicago comedy community, in terms of making it more diverse, more equitable. I mean, she's really was a trailblazer.
Nice.
So I cannot wait to speak with her. I'm so excited about that. And just a reminder, contestants running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. If you want to find out more information about all the rules for contests here on WCPT, go to WCPT820.com, and you can find out all the rules right there. And while you're at it, you can find us on Facebook, where we are coming at you live. That is at Out Chicago Radio, or you can find us at WCPT820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. And while you're at it, why not like WCPT on all social media at WCPT on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. And I think today we're actually coming at you live on YouTube as well.
Yes, we are.
We're everywhere. We are everywhere. So there we go. And then, of course, give us a call. 773-763-9278. That number again, 773-763-9278. There we go. How are you doing, Ellen Miller?
I've had another jam-packed weekend. I mean, the pandemic is still with us, but as we move into the different phases, and now that we're vaccinated, lots of things are back on, especially with the weather being what it is. We've been outside for events. We had a block party last night. Yesterday afternoon, which was great. Sadly, I went to a funeral. I found out after Scott and I were at the Reeling opening on Thursday. I got home and found out that the original bass player from my band, Nelson Street, his stepson was sadly in the wrong place at the wrong time. Young African-American man, 27 years old, Ishmael Adams, was shot and killed, and he and another friend. And, I was talking to Scott and Devin before we went on the air. Every Monday we get these statistics, 60 shot, 7 dead, and they're all nameless for the most part, faceless. You might hear a name, but generally, we don't know the people. And when you do have a personal connection and you go to a church on the South Side and you see all these wonderful people grieving this young man who, he went to barber school, he had his barber shop, he was, making something of his life, and he was a youth minister, and so many people touched by him. A little boy who was his nephew just was inconsolable in front of us crying, and
I think everybody needs to understand and just try to, even though you may not know these people, somebody is losing someone precious to them every day in this city. And I was at a party with some old friends, radio friends last night, celebrating a birthday. And, the answer is one word. It's guns.
Yep.
And I don't see us pivoting on guns at all. I just don't in this country. I do here in Chicago, but it takes the country. We talked about it. Yeah, we've had some strict gun laws in Illinois, but 2 miles out across the border, all the guns are from Indiana. So many of the guns.
Yep.
They trace so many murders to guns that have brought in from out of state. So it was a sad, it was very sad either way. A young life dying, but someone dying senselessly because someone just decided. I don't know the circumstance of where he was, but it was very sobering way to start the day. I have to tell you.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for my friend Marvin, and I wish his family peace and comfort. And I'll tell you, the African American church, boy, they do make you feel, that the person has gone to a better place, and they're joyous about it as much as they can between the tears. And it was as uplifting an experience as you could have in a sad situation. So that was my day yesterday, how it started, and ended up doing some more, fun things as the day went on. But it's a reality of living in Chicago. How about you? How was your weekend so far?
My weekend is great. I actually checked out Andersonville Homecoming yesterday.
That?
It's fun. It was, it's fun. It's great. We just it's smaller. I thought it was going to go all the way from Catalpa all the way down to Foster. Mm-hmm. It's not as large as Midsummerfest is, but they still jam pack a lot of stuff in there. It was kind of 50-50 about people who were masked and who were not masked. Mm-hmm. But it's super fun. There are 3 stages set up, and there seemed to be an impromptu stage. Yesterday there was some marching band I think that was playing there.
Was it the Pride Band? Or
I don't think it was the Pride Band. I don't know who they were because I couldn't. There was a big crowd around them, and we were kind of all right, let's just kind of steer over here. But they were fabulous. I mean, it was just felt like a Chicago time, and the fact that it was there's a little bit of a chill in the air just made it really feel like it was homecoming. I got some fried cheese curds, so that really felt like a Chicago street fair. It was good times.
You didn't get your potato
I didn't. I'm gonna go back today to get my potato chips.
Okay, good.
I love that
because I know you love those.
I know.
I went to Oktoberfest at St. Al's. I just wandered over there with I have my insulated teacup. It was 2 blocks from my house, and saw a band called Polkaholics. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They are like a punk polka band.
Oh yeah.
They are so good. And the neighborhood was your neighborhood, my neighborhood. We're just taking it all in while we can, and people are jamming festivals into September because we don't know what the rest of the fall and winter is going to bring.
Well, and a lot of these festivals are there to raise money for the neighborhood chamber of commerce, and a lot of places. I know Andersonville, where I live, hasn't had any sort of street fair since 2019.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great way just to kind of celebrate the community. We have some brand new neighbors who moved into our complex from Boston.
Oh, welcome.
And we're like, welcome. You're going to love this. Hey, there's a street fair. Chicago is known for street fairs. You're going to go check it out. We ran into them, and they're like, this is great!
Yeah. There's no city like ours when it comes to street fairs. I have some friends that moved from Germany, and I was helping them find a place. They were friends of friends, so I met them on FaceTime. They came to Muskie Fest, and I took pictures of the guys in lederhosen and the German gals, and I go, remind you of home? And he starts laughing. He goes, there are more Oktoberfests in the United States than there are in Germany.
Right. It's true. We like to drink on the street.
Especially in Chicago.
We like to drink beer and then have our
schnitzel and brat. And
there are a lot of Polish sausages.
And they had it all going on at St. Al's. So it's one more day, and it supports the community at St. Alphonsus. And, it's a...
Of course, that's what we all need. Yeah, and earlier this week, there's a wonderful independent comedy show here in Chicago called Camp, a comedy showcase. It used to be over at Roscoe Tap in Roscoe Village, out in their to continue with beer gardens, out in the beer garden. There was a bunch of picnic tables and fake ivy and stuff, and it felt kind of like you were in a camp rec hall, and. These 2 women started it, Tessa Orzak and Sam Berkman. They started Camp, a comedy show. It was a weekly show that happened on a Monday night, just randomly, and it grew to be this very just to be a very popular show. It had a huge following. And earlier this year, we lost Sam Berkman to cancer. And she, I mean, let me tell you, when she was fought it, like she had melanoma. She had to, they amputated a toe. And so we thought that she was like going to be all good and everything. And then it came back, and I mean, she was, late 20s.
Oh, no.
So early.
So sad.
So there was a celebration of Sam on Monday, and a celebration of camp. Camp has gone to Lincoln Lodge. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing it because it's just Tessa now, and she did a great job hosting the show, and the lineup was just delicious, really filled with some of the best comics here in Chicago, 2 of which are heading off to New York. So it was one of their last hurrahs. But it was and the room itself just felt like it was, like you were saying, for your friend's son, it just felt like it was a celebration. Yeah. Granted, it was different circumstances and there was much more time, to celebrate. But Sam's parents flew in from upstate New York, and they, and her brother was there, and it was just.
It helps the family so much to see all that support too.
Yeah, and to feel that she helped make a difference. Sure. I mean, Sam made Chicago a better place, and she also made the Chicago community a better place because she was just, goofy, a big ball of love and energy and light and burps.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to meet her.
She was great. So, but it was. So I got to go do that on Monday. It was really, really wonderful. But on Tuesday, I went to the MCA, which. If you haven't been to the MCA lately, just also a free hint, if you are an Illinois resident, on Tuesdays, it is free. So if you want to get, your little bit of culture on for free, go check it out. Right now, there is an exhibit about all of the comics, like cartoons that started here in Chicago. And it shows you the artistry of comics or graphic novels. And it starts in the 50s and moves through like the counterculture of the 60s and 70s and the 80s, and seeing how like the underground vibe happened. It was amazing. It's really, really cool. I kind of wish I had more time. I was with my 91-year-old friend Ruby, who is an artist, and the entire time she's like, "Hi, how do people think of these things? I could never draw like that." Yeah. And there's a lot of just beautiful drawings.
So it makes the world go round.
Yeah. And then we went downstairs. That's on the top floor, and then on the main floor, there is this really beautiful exhibit by Christina Quarles, I think is how you pronounce her name. She is an LA-based artist, queer, and she does a lot of figures that deal with like gravity and weight, and they're very intense. They're very emotional and big, like in-your-face paintings, and they're huge. But it was so wonderful to go in to see something that's unapologetically queer, celebrating women's bodies. It was mwah. Chef's kiss.
That sounds really wonderful.
Yeah, so if you want to go and get a little culture on, I highly, highly recommend.
And go on Tuesday because if you're a resident, it's free.
Yeah, in all of Illinois. So say you're like just coming up for a little vacay trip. I think that would be cool. Anyway, so that was good. Had some people over, celebrated a birthday this week. So. My goal in my life is to make my world look like the editorial spread from Gourmet Magazine. Do you remember Gourmet Magazine?
Yeah, I still have a bunch of issues.
I've got a ton
Kathy wants me to throw them out, but honey,
you got to keep all of them.
I keep a few of them.
I keep mostly like
and Bon Appetit. I have too, a bunch of them.
Same here, of course. Yeah, but the photo, like the editorial spreads are just always so great. It's like they're, in someone's beautiful home or they're at a lake and there's like tablecloths and good food and all of my multiculti friends are here and we're celebrating, and that's my goal.
For. Well, you can do it. You're doing it already.
That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to do that. There's no excuse. You can always use good dishes. You can always put out a tablecloth. You can always just make something small, make it feel special. So that's what I encourage.
We eat by candlelight every night.
Do you?
We eat since COVID started. We used to eat at our island, with the TV on, and I said, let's Let's eat at the dining room table. We have our cloth. I'm a cloth napkin freak
Same
anyway. And we have candles every single night.
Oh, well.
We eat by candlelight.
Isn't that romantic? Well, that's one of the keys.
It is.
To a long relationship.
Making everything special. I mean, try to celebrate everything because as we know, we've lost a lot of friends. I've talked about it. And sadly, I'm at the age where it seems like I'm still, I feel like I'm in my 30s, but people start to die when when they reach their 50s and 60s, sadly. And it doesn't seem fair, and it's not. But appreciate every day. Eat every sandwich. What do they say? Enjoy every sandwich. And,
I don't know. What is their saying? What is the sandwich saying?
Something about enjoy every sandwich. I know someone might know it. But just, don't take anything for granted.
Absolutely.
Especially after this is what we've been going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, as I have said, you and Kathy know how to celebrate everything.
We try.
It's fabulous. It's so wonderful.
And you too. You guys are celebrating well.
And we're not as good as you. You're like, it's Thursday.
Yay.
Let's go. It's like, it's fabulous. I love it. I love it. I love it. But, it's Sunday and we need to take a break
we do
right now. But before we go, this part about Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Now, Tom, he's retired with a Social Security income and $30 grand with over $2 million in retirement assets. Now, Tom contacted 3 banks to refinance his Illinois home and to purchase a second home in Florida. All 3 told him he didn't qualify, so he called Team Hochberg for a free consultation. And you know what? Team Hochberg helped Tom refinance and purchase a second home with an asset depletion loan. Now let's review. Before calling Team Hochberg, Tom was rejected by 3 banks. Now after calling Team Hochberg, Tom lowered his rates and monthly payment, refinancing his current home and purchasing a new home in Florida. Hopefully he will get, hopefully he'll get those booster shots.
Yes.
Since he's retired.
And tell 20 of his new friends.
And tell 20 of his new friends in Florida to do that. But Team Hochberg has helped thousands of WCPT listeners use their retirement assets to refinance their existing homes and purchase new homes like they helped Tom. But they can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. The number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061. We do have to take a quick break, but when we come back, it seems like a lot of people are really, really, really upset that people are talking about LGBTQ curriculums in school and anything that involves Black Lives Matter. So we're going to talk about that when we get back. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. When the United States entered World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt believed that Major League Baseball should continue despite most of the players being off defending their country in the war. Worried about the future of the sport, Philip Wrigley founded the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in 1943. Despite being the first league for women, the league did not want any racial integration and turned away pitcher Mamie Johnson because she was black. But Johnson's love for the game did not let this stop her, as Johnson and 2 other women of color tried out for the Negro Leagues, and all 3 of them were then signed by the Indianapolis Clowns. The 3 women faced struggles from their male counterparts, but won over the league and the fans with their playing ability. During their run, the Clowns had the highest attendance, beating out any team in Major League Baseball and the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Kick off the season with huge savings at Hawk Volkswagen on Jefferson Street in Joliet. And now is the time to save big on a huge selection of new Volkswagen models like Jetta, Tiguan, Atlas Cross Sport, and the all-new Taos. We've got over 20 of each in stock, all the hard-to-find trim levels and colors, ready for immediate delivery. 0% financing for 72 months is available right now on new 2021 Volkswagen models, and no one will pay you more for your trade-in. Service, selection, and a first-class experience. That's why we've been the #1 Volkswagen dealer in Illinois for the last 5 years in a row. Thank you to all of our customers who've chosen to do business with us over the past 5 years. It's only possible because of you, and we look forward to providing an outstanding customer experience for years to come. If you haven't experienced Hawk VW for yourself, now is a great time. Hawk Volkswagen on Jefferson Street in Joliet, online at hawkvw.com. Available on selected Volkswagen models with approved credit is driven by Volkswagen Credit. See dealer for details and more. Claim based on 2016 through 2020 retail sales. Expires 10/4/21.
Hi, folks. Your liberal loan lender, Scott Silberman here. I can't believe that kids are starting school again, summer is almost over, and the Biden agenda is still moving forward with both the bipartisan and reconciliation infrastructure bills. Only thing that I can see screwing this up is the destruction of voting rights. We need to get that handled. Anyway, with all this government spending, interest rates are still amazingly low, so it's still a great time to buy or refinance. Please call me, Scott Silberman, at 847-423-0301 to discuss your financing needs. I work weekends too, so everything from streamlined refinances to jumbo loans to VA to first-time home buyer, we'll find the loan that works. Call me at 847-423-0301. Start online, Scott Silberman with a B, at goapmc.com. Do I have time left? If you ain't vaccinated, call your doc. Get off the internet. 847-423-0301.
American Portfolio Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender, NMLS 175656, Scott's NMLS 681059.
Welcome back. I'm Fazia Mirza. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller on our first show of fall.
It is. Our autumnal edition.
The autumnal edition, although it is nice.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be 80 today. My kind of weather.
You do like it, but I don't mind. I love it when it gets 80 and then it like drops down into the 60s at night.
I don't mind that for sleeping. Yeah,
it makes me
open the window.
Mm-hmm.
Windows. Yes. Although it's been a little noisy in the neighborhood. It was so quiet for a year and a half, and then
Oh well, you're in Lakeview too.
Yeah.
So I live across from a cemetery, so it's usually pretty quiet.
Lakeview is. They were lined up in front of our house to go to Will's because of Wisconsin bar, and Wisconsin was playing Notre Dame yesterday.
Oh, I was down in Lakeview yesterday. I had to buy new shoes, and I was like, what's up with all the Wisconsin shirts?
Yeah, they were playing at Soldier Field. It was a big game, so people were, watching in bars.
They played at Soldier Field?
They were literally lined up in front of our house and 5 doors down to get into the bar to watch the game.
Yeah, no.
At 10 a.m.
I don't understand. I don't get that. I don't. I mean, I
don't get it either.
I get like getting into
20. So,
but I mean, I understand like the need for like community and camaraderie and all going in. But like right now, being shoved into a tiny bar.
There is a big outdoor area too. So, but whatever.
It just seems weird.
I know. I think they have to show proof of vaccination to get in.
Okay, still too weird.
I know.
Like I was having a panic attack. I went to DSW and there were 5 people in the elevator.
Oh, okay.
I looked at this one woman. Like as more people kept getting on, I'm like, this is a lot of people. She's like, what happened to social distancing? I'm like, thank you for sharing this moment with me. So yeah. Not my speed.
Yeah.
If I need space.
No, we're not. Going
I need a little bit of space. Let's go.
Did you find any shoes at DSW? Did you get any?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did. Yes. Now we're all. I know, you can all rest easy.
Okay, good.
I had to get new walking shoes.
I tried to buy 7. I had to buy 7 pairs of shoes before I found the right one because I have very difficult feet. Again, walking shoes for our walks that we do.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I know, because apparently I got the plantar fasciitis or whatever.
So you got one thing, I got something else.
Well, you got that gimp toe or whatever.
I have an extra long toe, second toes. But if you look at ancient Roman and Greek paintings and sculptures, the people that were in charge had the long second toe. Check it out.
There you go. It's just like you're flipping the bird with your feet.
Devin has something to say
what's going on here?
I have that too, and I just thought that was normal until now.
No, it's special.
It's special.
It's not normal. It's special.
I thought everyone had that.
No, they don't.
No, I just had purple toes.
No.
No. All right. Cool.
All right,
Get
there
super
we go,
long. All right, everybody
We're
look
some
out.
scintillating conversation here.
I know. Ooh.
Give us a call if you've got a second toe that's a lot longer than your first toe.
Wow, I didn't realize I was working with such freaks. Freaks of nature.
No, we are special.
You are special. You are mutants. You are X-Men.
All the old...
You are X-Men. That's what it is.
Paintings showed the second toe. It was a sign of royalty. Check it out.
All right.
Anyway.
Your Majesty.
Yes, dear.
There you go, Your Highness.
That's my concubine.
I'm your concubine?
I don't know.
I'm a prostitute?
No, you're not.
Well, it's kind of close. I mean, I am a comedian. Pretty much the same thing.
Same difference.
Same thing. You're paying me, I'll show up.
Yeah,
you know?
There you go. Hey, I'm not that way with a harmonica, too.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
You don't even have to pay me and I'll show up.
No, I know. Well, people are showing up, and it seems to be a lot of people are showing up to school board meetings now.
Oh, yeah, it's a new thing.
It's the new thing that is definitely being organized by we need to. I keep saying like Republicans. It's not. We've got to change the word, because it's not the Republican Party or what we thought the Republican Party used to be.
They let themselves become that, though. They elected people that felt that way.
They have elected people that have felt that way. But a lot of people are now organizing, sending people into school board meetings to protest like some banana stuff. First of all, masks is a big thing. And they're coaching their children to talk about like how they can't see my smiling face and all this stuff. And I've seen some video. I try not to look at all these things to give it any sort of oxygen, but there is a sort of organized movement right now, not only just around COVID, but around curriculum that is that involves LGBTQ issues and issues involving, BIPOC, Black Lives Matter, just all of these populations where people are trying to talk about some certain things, and people are getting really, really mad. Let's just a reminder, folks, that here in Illinois, it is now a law that LGBTQ history is taught, is a part of the curriculum in public schools for the entire state, and that's K through 12.
That's right, elementary school as well.
Now, before you get your panties in a wad, think about what they are not teaching. It is not like a how-to for gay sex.
Right.
Let's just get that straight. It is there. That isn't even covered. That's a whole other topic that, as we get in, as students get older and sex education becomes a thing, that is something that needs to be talked about, as among as many other different things, that women can actually enjoy sex. That's a huge thing that people should be talking about that they don't. It's basically, don't get pregnant, don't get an STI, fear. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about LGBTQ history, and starting in October, it is LGBTQ History Month. And there are people who are just all that we're doing, all that the law is doing is just adding the fact that this person was a lesbian, this person was trans, this person was gay, this person was whichever part of the alphabet that they identified with, just to let you know that queer people have been huge in American history.
And here forever and doing good things.
World War II ended because of a gay man, Alan Turing.
Yes.
We have all of it, it's a huge thing. And earlier this month, there was a third grade teacher at Abraham Lincoln Elementary School in Glen Ellen, Illinois, who was under investigation after a viral TikTok videos revealed the lessons on Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ rights that she teaches our students. It went on to, somebody tweeted it out, and it got like 100,000 likes. And again, this was a lovely, cheery woman who was like, all right, it's June, and this means it's LGBTQ Pride Month. Now, what does that mean? It means that we honor the people of the LGBTQ community who have done so much to help our world. And we as allies, she never brought up, sexual, like people's, kids' sexuality. Like, do you identify? Because they're in third grade.
Right.
She just wanted people to be aware, like, you're going to see a lot of rainbows around.
Which is a beautiful thing to do, to get kids informed and, make them feel that whoever they are is okay,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But also it's huge just to make, he's like, hi, we're everywhere. We've done a lot of things that are good for the world. There was and she was, she's just saying, like, here are some books that we might read, and that talks about the achievements of queer folks, which is great. She also was talking about Black Lives Matter, and have you? Okay, I'm going to go off topic. I'm just going to bounce all over the place. I think I was talking to you at the Reeling opening night about this. There's a great podcast out there, and I know you're listening to WCPT, and we love that. If you need to take a break later on, like at night or something, I highly recommend checking out the podcast South Lake. It is a 6-part series. There are 5 out now. I'm not sure when the 6th one drops because I binged them all on one epic walk, that focuses on a tiny community outside of Dallas, and about the racial divide, and about, there was back in 2016, either 2016 or 2018, there were a couple of viral videos that went out from students at this one particular school that used the N-word. And it was students, and there were people who are talking about what we need to do as a community to say that this kind of speech is not tolerated here. This sort of hate is not tolerated here. It's a beautiful. It's very harrowing too, because they talked with students who go to the school. They talked to parents who are in the community who moved to this community of South Lake, which is a suburb of Dallas. Became very, very affluent. People from the Cowboys, players from the Cowboys live there. Former players, and it centers around one player who was injured, and I can't remember his name right now. It was something Corn, because she would call his widow calls him her corn dog. It's very sweet. But he was a Dallas Cowboy. He sustained injuries. He became a financial planner, and he started volunteering at, coaching the high school football team, doing all of this stuff, being a very, very big member of the community, thought about running for mayor of the town. He passed away. He had a heart attack in the middle of the night, and he died. But they named this fountain after him in the town square, and there was this, to recognize his legacy of diversity and inclusion within the community. And it was vandalized,
God.
like etched in, like with KKK and all this stuff. And
that's so sad.
And the mayor, who was very supportive of all right, we need to do a better job about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and talk about that and how we change the culture within our schools. And it became this big brouhaha because, of course, now the right is very much organized around this whole boogeyman of critical race theory, something that is taught in colleges, and they are convinced that they are teaching it in schools, and they are telling white kids that they are bad, and that basically the main tenet of critical race theory is that we are un-American and we hate America. And it's like, no, what we are doing and what these educators are trying to do, here in Illinois and, across the country, is just to give a different perspective. We're talking about perspectives of okay, so LGBTQ people have often been hidden to many people throughout history. And now just simply mentioning the fact that there is this queer person that's a huge thing. When it comes to Black Lives Matter and Black history is also legally supposed to be taught here in Illinois.
It's fear of losing their white privilege.
Well, but they don't understand what's going on when it comes to the whole idea about white privilege. They don't get that. They think that that's again, that we're calling them racist.
Yeah,
I know. No, we are just showing the fact that history is told by the winners, and there are multiple perspectives around history. Ask any of the indigenous people who live here about the history of the country. You'll get a completely different story.
Oh, yeah.
Ask the people who are Black or any other people of color who may not, whose ancestors did not choose to come to this country, and now they've had to. And that sort of racism is kind of baked into the cake that is our country.
Is.
And right now, that is a big thing that's happening across the country. Even here in Illinois. But that is something that folks, it just gets me so frustrated when we have people who are look, we aren't calling you racist. We are not calling America, we aren't un-American. We're just kind of pulling back the curtain to reveal that, people who are very, very excited about American exceptionalism, you might need to look and see we're not all that exceptional in many places.
They just think we're the greatest no matter what. They don't look any deeper. Most of them have never left the country, so or ventured
or even out of their
neighborhoods.
Right. That's the whole thing. It is the fear of the other.
Yes, it's the fear of the other. Absolutely, fear of the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that the white majority is going to be the white minority in 20 years. And that's the part that's very upsetting to me. So there's still no reports about what's going on with this teacher in Glen Ellen. I've actually tried to reach out to the school district, and there's nothing there. But there was also earlier this week, there was a huge brouhaha at Bennett Academy in Lisle, where they faced backlash as they withdrew an offer to a lacrosse coach because she's married to a woman. Now Bennett Academy rather, is a Catholic school. And they were saying that it doesn't match with their Catholic teachings, but there was a huge pushback, and they eventually, hired her,
offered her job back, and she took it. So.
And actually, Cameron Esposito, who's going to be on the show in the second hour, went to Bennett Academy and actually had a Catholic education her entire life.
So we'll talk to her about that.
Talk about her about that. But as folks, especially folks with kids, or if you are a neighbor of kids, we need to start being aware of what is being said at these school board meetings.
Thankfully, here in our little bubble, it's different. But in Glen Ellen and other parts of the country and just getting out of the Chicago area, it's different. The fear is big and it's scary.
Yeah, and it's their big argument is that it does not align with their values.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't understand just how simply saying that this person who did good, who was a change maker in history, and saying that they are a member of the LGBTQ plus community.
They can't handle the truth.
Well, it's not even I don't even know what it is. How is that against your morals to let them know that this person was gay? I don't get it. And maybe actually our next guest can help us figure everything out. We do have to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Brian C. Johnson, who is the CEO of Equality Illinois. He's the author of the brand new book, Our Fair Share. One small change can create a more equitable American economy. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Rick Unger. There has been enormous controversy over whether the CDC is flip-flopping when they told us at one point, well, if you have the vaccine, you don't need to wear the mask. Now they're saying you do need to wear the mask even if you've had the vaccine. Well, there's a good reason for it. It is very easy for you, if you do have the virus, to give it to other people. We know all this.
Rick Unger, weekday evenings at 6, right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Let's just take that out of your mouth.
At Ping's Pre-K, the growing enrollment is no play date.
Toilet is not a closet.
She needs more teachers certified in early childhood development.
Is it nap time yet? Lunch?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you remember last year's historic rainfall? Well, at Permaseal, we certainly do. And as much as we like helping homeowners solve their problems, we'd much prefer to help you avoid them. Now, today is a great day to call Permaseal for a free foundation inspection. We can identify any potential problems you may have with your walls, floors, window wells, and sump pumps, as well as give you a written estimate of any existing problems that you may have been living with. Our inspectors are also trained and certified to identify any structural problems and concerns that you may have. The inspection is free, and the peace of mind that you will have when the next thunderstorms come rolling through is priceless. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and has helped over 450,000 homeowners just like you. Call 800-421-7325, 800-421-SEAL, or visit permaseal.net.
Don't best for and better Permaseal.
Welcome back. I'm writer and activist Stacey Anshin. You are listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, as we roll along. I'm super excited to have our first guest.
Yes.
Back to the show in a different capacity.
Totally.
Brian C. Johnson is the CEO of Equality Illinois. He's also the author of the brand new book, Our Fair Share, How One Small Change Can Create a More Equitable American Economy. Brian Johnson, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Ellen. It's so good to be back with y'all.
It's nice to have you, Brian.
We are so happy to have you, and congratulations on the book. It's, for a book about economic inequality, it's a page turner. I was like, I was riveted. I'm like, it's really great because you've narrated, you've weaved in together personal narratives and historical references and data, and you beautifully present the effects and the repercussions of inequality in our country. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I wanted to tell a story that was about who we are as a country, about our identity, about our values. I didn't want it to be just dry research and policy ideas, but something bigger and more holistic.
Yeah, well, and as I frequently say, when you create a narrative and you are able to generate empathy, because you you hear this person's story and you see exactly how these disparities are affecting people, or how, the economic situations really hurt or help certain communities, you tend to, that's the easiest way to make change, because you're garnering empathy. So yes, it's just, wow. Congrats. I'm so proud of you and excited for you. And I think you kind of answered this because, right in the book at the very beginning, you're like, I am not an academic or even an economist. So what led you to write a book about income inequality?
Right. How does someone who works in LGBTQ civil rights, who spent a career in classrooms and coffee shops and church basements, end up writing a book on economic justice? For me, two things were kind of coming together in my life a couple years ago. One was, here I was traveling the state of Illinois, all through the state, talking to lots of different people, seeing how interconnected our state was, which, as you know from the book, builds on my life as traveling around the country. Yeah. My dad was in the Army, so I lived in a lot of different places. So I've seen on just a concrete level how connected this incredibly vibrant, diverse country is. And yet, I was coming across all this research and all these news stories about how we are experiencing economic inequality like never before, or at least never before over the past century. And I couldn't really wrestle with this hypocrisy and this contradiction. So I began sitting down and trying to figure out what is the path forward here.
Yeah, and in it you write, from 1980 to 2014, median wages for individuals in America increased by 61%, controlling for inflation. But here's the kicker: for the bottom 50% of earners, there was almost no increase at all. Think about it. From 1980 to the mid 2010s, the size of our economy nearly tripled and the per capita GDP nearly doubled, but most Americans saw no real increase in their earnings. And that is simply because the top 1% was getting all of the income, right?
That's right. I think we have this idea in this country that inequality is just a byproduct of capitalism. If we want an economy full of innovation and growth, we have to tolerate inequality. And it's just always been with us. But one thing that I try to explain in this book that I uncovered in my research is the levels of inequality we have right now. They're not our parents' levels of inequality. They're not even what our grandparents lived through. This is, inequality that we haven't seen in over a century. I mean, CEOs in the 1960s used to make 20 times the average worker, and now they make 300 times the average worker. We have not seen this level of inequality since the 1920s, and it's scary.
And Brian, how do we put the genie back in the bottle? I mean, how do we change that?
I mean, first, I think it's about understanding how this came to be. And Ellen, there are lots of factors that play into it. The decline of unionization, the reliance on outsourcing, the changing family dynamics. And I want to honor all of those. Mm-hmm. But really, I think what has contributed most to this rampant inequality is this, what I call the enabling narrative of the past really 40 years. When we came out of World War II and the Depression, we were a country that really believed that what made us strong was our ability to take care of each other and our interconnectedness. Mm-hmm. And then with the onset of the Cold War, and honestly the end of the Cold War, what we began to say to ourselves is, no. What makes us special isn't our ability to take care of each other. What makes us special is our refusal to be bound together. Mm-hmm. And we deregulated at a rampant level, and we, cut our tax rates so the richest Americans don't have to fund our social services. And this story just took off. So I think the first thing we have to do is say, no, that is not what makes America, strong and good. One of the things that makes America strong and good is that we are a country whose, best parts of our history show that when we come together across difference, when we honor our connections, when we take care of each other, that is what makes us strong. And then we need an economy that reflects that.
I'd hoped after a worldwide pandemic, when we saw that there was a great equalizer, no matter how much money you had, you were still, your life changed. The things you came to know and expect and count on were gone, whether you were rich or poor. And, I would hope that people having a year and a half to stew into that, to think about that, to think about their lives and think about what's important, what's really important in life. But I don't see it. I don't see people coming out of it, feeling charitable to others. I mean, maybe there's some charity, but they talk about people driving crazy and you see the policies that people still want to pass. The infrastructure bill, for example, this is something I hear that could really, really change a lot of, the job situation in this country and provide, make lots of jobs that people, we need laborers, but, we can't get together on something like that, which seems to be such a positive. I don't know what it's going to take.
Here's my slightly different take on that.
Okay.
Which I agree that I am frustrated by the resistance to those investments. But what we're seeing is that resistance is largely led by a small number of, quite honestly, mostly congressional Republican. Right, exactly. When you poll some of the things within the Recovery Act or within the infrastructure bill, they are wildly popular among Americans. We have seen a greater willingness to go and give people cash payments unrelated to their labor than we've ever seen. I mean, I'm excited to say earlier this week in Chicago, the mayor proposed what would be the largest pilot program of guaranteed income in the country, potentially giving up to 5,000 families every month up to $500 a month for a year. So I think we're seeing a willingness to start play with this, but you're right. There are certain Republican elites that will continue to fight this.
Yeah.
Well, and as you write in the book, Our Fair Share, you talk about how we are no longer, as you were saying, being interconnected. We are a transactional country right now, and all of our relationships are transactional.
It's them and us.
Well, and also what can we get and what can you give us? Like that sort of mentality, which also, you talk about just, if all men are created equal, then equality of opportunity, economic and political, must flow from that premise, and social mobility is proof of our egalitarianism. Like, I loved that whole idea, because if we're supposed to be equal, then the big talking point from the conservatives and people who are opposed to any sort of community help is like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But if you don't have that mobility, that's an impossibility.
Yeah.
I really want to touch on this so briefly because it's the heart of your book. But so you propose a citizen dividend. Can you briefly explain what that is?
Sure. So what I say is, to begin to build an economy that reflects our national values of coming together across difference, we should have a citizen dividend. This recognizes that no matter what business you are in the country, you have made a profit, in part using wealth we all own together, our roads, our infrastructure, our natural resources. And in a capitalist economy, when you use somebody else's wealth to create profits, you have to give part of those profits back to the people who own that wealth. So I simply say, every business who turns a profit every year should give 5% of its profits into a national fund, which pays every American every year, in recognition that our wealth that we own together was used to help turn that profit.
Yeah,
I like it.
I know it's a radical idea, and like you said, it's one small change, but it's a huge thing with huge implications. I'm I was fascinated by this book. So again, it's Our Fair Share. How one small change can create a more equitable American economy. It's going to be available on the 28th. So on Tuesday. It's when on Tuesday when it hits.
Congratulations, Brian.
Yeah, so congratulations on this. And the thing that just drives me crazy, like, people should not be billionaires. I know I shouldn't be bad. I'm bad turning to social media. How much money
do they need?
How much money do people actually need? And that's what I hate to go to, social media and to meme culture, but, there's this one floating around of Dolly Parton. He's like, Dolly Parton could be a billionaire, but she gives away so much of her money that she's a millionaire, and she will still have more money than you. So I think the whole greed is good mantra that started in the 80s and is now continued on, we need to look out for each other, especially if that's the more Christian way to do things, if that's what they're doing.
Sure. So, if they're not so, a little bit of hypocrisy going on with them, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Another subject.
It's bananas. But Brian Johnson from Equality, Illinois, your new book, Our Fair Share, How One Small Change Can Create a More Equitable American Economy. It's available on Tuesday, the 28th. Please pick up a copy and get one from an independent bookstore. How about that? There we go.
Right. Absolutely.
Brian Johnson, thank you so much. Congratulations on the book, and thank you for taking time out today on this beautiful day to join us.
And we'll see you again soon.
I love it. Thank you all. Take care.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye-bye. We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the second hour of Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
The WCPT 820 Club is here.
How do you join, you ask?
It's easy. All you have to do is head over to WCPT820.com to register.
Be the first to know of WCPT events and contests.
Once you're registered, you can take part in caption contests, polls, trivia, surveys, and games.
Go to WCPT820.com, look for the WCPT 820 Club tab in the menu, and follow the instructions from there.
Contests running on WCPT 820 are open to Chicagoland residents 18 and over. Complete rules at WCPT820.com.
A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Moen, fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
This is WCPT 820, where you can hear The Stephanie Miller Show every weekday, 8 to 11 a.m., because facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Scott Carr. There's no word yet on what caused an Amtrak passenger train with about 160 people on board to derail Saturday in Montana, leaving at least 3 people dead, more than 30 injured. The train, known as the Empire Builder, was headed from Chicago to Washington State when it left the tracks just west of the small town of Joplin. A team of federal safety investigators are on their way. A $3.5 trillion spending package expected to go to the House floor for a vote this week in Washington. The House Budget Committee voting Saturday to pass the bill, which would expand health care, address climate change, and spend more on U.S. infrastructure. Republicans have been largely voting against it. Meantime, Senator from New Jersey, Cory Booker, says his bill about reforming the police is not about defunding them. Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, the New Jersey Democrat says there's language in his bill that does take away funding from local police agencies, but only if they do not follow certain guidelines. Booker says police leaders understand there's a problem with the current structure of law enforcement in the U.S., and sweeping new guidelines are needed. An investigation continues after a 40-year-old San Diego woman and her 2-year-old son died in a fall from the 3rd floor of Petco Park onto the sidewalk below.
It was described to me at about a 6-story fall. It's far too early for us to have any information as to whether or not this is intentional or accidental.
That's Andra Brown with the San Diego police saying the woman and child were at a dining concession area prior to the fall. A witness told a local TV station the unidentified woman jumped. Police are now questioning the husband. Actor William Shatner's headed for the final frontier. TMZ reporting the Star Trek actor is expected to officially announce tomorrow he's going up on a Jeff Bezos Blue Origin rocket in October.
You okay, Jim? How do you feel? I feel young.
The trip would make the 90-year-old actor the oldest person to head into outer space. Scott Carr, NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You've asked for her, now we got her. Comedian and talk show host Patty Vasquez. Live every weeknight from 5 to 6 p.m.
And as you would imagine, that would mean that folks want to call in and join the conversation.
Driving it home with Patty Vasquez.
Look, we want to be out, we want to gather and have a good time.
On WCPT 820.
The Hal Sparks radio program.
Governors of pro-Trump states, they must show their fealty towards Trump by mitigating any support for the health and safety of their own citizens against COVID so that they don't upset him or the minority of his supporters amongst the Republicans in their state, which are often the majority of the voters in their state.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Moen, fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ellen Miller as we roll along. Ellen's showing off pictures of her brand new toy.
I bought a new scooter. I've been driving a 1986 for many, many years. So
girl, that scooter, that scooter has now launched you into the Lesbian Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Because it is like, you look like you are, Delta Force or something.
It's a cool scooter. It's cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Again, to go with your X-Man powers, with your long toe. With your super long toes.
That's right.
And now your super speedy thing. It's great.
Gotta enjoy life.
It's so pretty. I love it.
Thank you. I'll give you a ride sometime.
Nice. I would love that. Okay. I'm so excited about the second hour of Out Chicago. This is usually we're like more fartsy than artsy. This is definitely more artsy. Or it could be a little bit of fartsy. Who knows? Later on this hour, we're going to be speaking with the artistic director and founder of M.A.D.D Rhythms, Bril Bennett. He's going to be joining us to talk about their 20th anniversary and all about the Chicago Tap Summit. Who didn't love tap dancing?
I used to try and do it with my shoe, but never.
I can do. I've done a time step on a Broadway stage. I've sung and danced on a Broadway stage. There we go.
Nice. Show me later.
I'll show you later. And then also, Reeling Film Festival, the Chicago LGBTQ plus International Film Festival rolls along. It had its opening on Thursday, and it continues through October 2nd. We're going to be speaking with director Emily Branham, who directed a documentary about Bebe Zahara Benet, who is from the first winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, and talked about their story from
Cameroon.
From Cameroon. And then we go from Cameroon to Cameron. I'm so excited. I've been waiting to get this person onto our show, and I'm so happy that they are here. Comedian, author, and podcast Cameron Esposito is returning to Chicago for a one-night-only performance at the Den Theater on October 2nd. And joining us now is none other than Cameron Esposito. Cameron, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you. And congrats on that transition. That was smooth.
Yeah, I've been working on it all weekend. I was like, oh, yes. Language is my toy.
It just flowed out of your mouth. You didn't work on it at all. Come on.
I just feel so proud of you.
Yes, you should.
Thank you. I feel like I'm getting a little hug from Cameron Esposito right now.
So nice.
First off, how are you? How are you doing? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I mean, I like that that's how things have changed in the last couple of years. It's not like, how are you? It's like, how are you?
Right? I am looking into your eyeballs and I'm questioning your soul.
Yes.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
None of us are okay, maybe.
Right.
I will say that I'm definitely, massively privileged because I had a chance very early on to transition some of my work stuff onto the internet, and then work on other things outside of stand-up. So I feel like I'm like in a pretty good spot. I know that for a lot of people who work in live performance, or anybody who's a server or a bartender, like anybody who needed to be out and about, this has been such a tough year, and not everybody has the, the chance or like the platform. It turns out you can't like bartend via Zoom.
No.
But, anyway, so I'm okay. I'm doing well, but I'm thinking a lot about the folks that work in Chicago, which has such an awesome live arts scene. That might have been even more impacted over this last year.
They were sidelined.
Yeah, they were sidelined, and we are slowly coming back. It's very exciting. Like, there are performances that are happening. Comedies has been back. As soon as those vaccinations started rolling out, the venues started opening up their doors. So comedy is definitely back. Music is coming back. Theater is coming back. And, of course, you are coming back. One of our hometown favorites. You're going to be coming back to the Den Theater this Saturday. Super excited.
This Saturday.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Yep. It is this Saturday. I just was remembering how dates work.
Right. I know. Time is, there's no such thing as time anymore. It's all Blur's Day. It's like whatever. But how does it feel to be back in front of live audiences?
Well, I've had the experience to play some theaters, which is what the Den is, and that feels pretty good because the stage is a little higher usually, and the audience is a little further back and further spread apart. And then with masks and vaccination proof, it kind of feels like this alternate universe where things are as safe as they could possibly be right now. It's not like there are obviously no guarantees going into the grocery store or like anywhere these days, but it has felt like pretty safe, and that's been awesome because I don't know how both of you are, but I am nervous about everything all the time. So something to actually be nervous about that's been really tough. I'm an anxious person, and then you give them a real reason to have anxiety, and that's not good.
my wife's more nervous than I am. Cameron, I'm vaccinated, of course. We wear the masks like we are supposed to do here in the state of Illinois when indoors. But when outdoors, I take my mask off, and I just feel like I got to live my life. I'm certainly not going to do anything that put myself in jeopardy. But there's a neighbor kid of mine who's like 13, and she won't take her mask off, even on her front porch by herself. And I worry that some people are, I don't know what it's going to take for them to start feeling comfortable. And obviously it's a personal thing for everybody, but I kind of feel like we're in between, like we're in Middle Earth, we're between what we came from and what we want to get to. And it's kind of like, where are we really? It's cautiously optimistic.
Right. The thing that's also true is that we have no idea what's going on for any individual person. Like my wife is immunocompromised, and so I am definitely your 13-year-old neighbor wearing a mask on my own porch, like for sure. And I feel good with that. Like I feel it. It doesn't bother me to be on the more conservative side of one issue ever.
Right. There you go. You finally found one.
I found one issue I can be on the more conservative side.
And that's okay.
And I feel like it's also nice to have that viewpoint, again, because as a stand-up comic, it's like I'm not a public health department, but many of us have had to make like our own rules about shows. And that is wild. I've never seen that before in the live performance world or community where people are, I'm sure you see it all the time as concerts are coming to town. It's like different bands with different protocol. Right. And it's like, good Lord, how am I being trusted? It's like I don't know if you remember, but I'm a joking around guy.
Right.
That's my level of scientific experience. And so, it does feel like I'm actually grateful that I have that more conservative outlook on this one thing because I think it's helpful for my audience.
Yeah. Hey,
yes,
stay healthy. That's what I'm all about.
Right.
I know.
Chicago. tell me everything about what am I going to see when I return? How is this?
First of all, right now, it is gorgeous here.
It's
You are
gorgeous.
going to love this weather, especially if you're in LA right now. You actually get a little bit of fall. It's like beautiful and sunny,
for the next
crispy
week, it's
in the
going to be
evening.
warm and nice and sunny for the next week till you get here.
It's lovely. And Chicago audiences are, as you know, the best audiences in the world, especially when it comes to comedy.
Yes.
You know, I know Laugh Factory has been super duper cautious. We comedians will change out mics, their mic covers. We're trying to make everybody's required to have masks on. So you should be feeling really good when you come back.
And Lakeview, where I live,
God, that's awesome.
Cameron I forget what the source was, but a couple weeks ago, Lakeview came out as being one of the most vaccinated neighborhoods in the country at nearly 80%.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah. I mean,
I have so many other things to say about Lakeview.
Right.
Likely places to see somebody vomiting on the street. Around 80% chance that you will see somebody leaving the Cubs game and puking on the street.
There you go.
And some girl crying without her shoes on. Yes. Why is she so sad?
Also a lovely neighborhood.
Yes.
A neighborhood where you can really experience the effects of alcohol.
Oh, my God. Yes, you can.
Well, one of the great things I think about you coming back to Chicago is you can experience the effects of this incredible legacy that you've created here. I'm not sure if you're quite as aware of it as you should be. So I'm going to pump you up here, Cameron Esposito.
I feel as if I might cry even as what you're saying.
Yay, cry. That's awesome.
That's okay.
That's what I'm here. This is our Barbara Walters moment here. No, but as a queer comic and radio host, I want to thank you, Cameron Esposito, for being such a trailblazer for diversity and equity for comedy here in Chicago. Because of you, I think because of you, and your unabashed and bold delivery and, fearlessness on stage to talk about whatever you want to talk about, you've paved the way so that so many women, non-binary folks, BIPOC, queer folks, to be able to come onto some of the bigger stages, like just even you creating space, starting the, feminine comique with Lincoln Lodge. That's still going on. I hope you know that. It is, people are caring. If you aren't familiar, Cameron Esposito, she started a class that was designed for women who want to get into stand-up, to provide a safe space and a welcoming space to encourage women and non-binary folks to get up and have their voices be heard. And that still is going on today. That class is still being offered. So thank you for that. Do you ever think about those moments, because you are blazing a trail?
I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you saying that. Honestly, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I feel that class and the Coles open mic, which also still runs, and actually one of the current hosts just had her last show. Alex
Kumin. Yep, she's moving to New York.
Just had her last show before moving to New York, and I do keep tabs on those things because, there's some of the stuff I'm most proud of, honestly. I've had a career where, a lot of things have happened that I never imagined might be possible, to be in a movie and then to be in a few, or to have a book. That's just, not anything that was on my radar. But what was on my radar was exactly what you're talking about. What I meant to be doing was changing dynamics. And I will say that I had a lot of support in Chicago, like Mark Erie, who runs the Lincoln Lodge, who helped me start that class, or Coleman Bryce, who owns that bar, Coles, which is the best bar in the world, and it's in Logan Square. Mm-hmm. But I also had, so much opposition, intense cruelty and bullying by my peers. Yep. I'm not talking about a childhood playground thing that I'm remembering from when I'm 6. I'm talking about men in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, straight men in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, who were really upset when I started doing stand-up. And, took a toll on me. And I hope that things are just the slightest bit different by anything that I have been able to do, because that was just the worst.
I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I think Scott will attest that things have evolved.
Yeah, things are getting better here within the community, and one of the things that's really kind of exciting is the fact that you do see queer comics, you do see women, non-binary comics getting booked in these major clubs here in Chicago, and not just on the gay night or on the ladies' night or whatever, female funnies.
But I know what you mean. I was with a stand-up comedian for 5 years, and both as being a gay woman and being a woman, the way she was treated by the comedy clubs, it was horrible. And there, even though this was a bastion of comedy, it was not. If you were a white male, it was a bastion of comedy. If you were a female, you had to, claw and scratch your way into the clubs, and it was very much of of second-class citizenry that I was seeing. But I think things have changed, thankfully.
They're getting better.
They're getting better.
And mostly, again, I'm going to say thank you to you,
People
Cameron
like you.
Esposito.
That's just really cool. I really appreciate it. And, it's really awesome because whenever I'm back in town, I get to, see who's working there now, you know? And, that is incredible because, I get to, pick my opener.
I know.
And
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm so excited. Go ahead.
No, I have Victoria Vincent opening for me this time, and I've not seen her stuff live, and that is also one of the really fun things about touring is seeing, because there aren't more people that join at my level. I've been doing this for 20 years, so everybody that I know that's been doing this has been doing it for 20 years, and the newer folks, you don't always get a chance to see because they're working different rooms. They're at an open mic, and I'm touring around, and so I don't always get a chance to see what is happening right now in the stand-up world. What are younger comics doing? What are newer comics doing? And that's one of my favorite parts of touring is hearing what folks are doing in specific cities, what people are doing in a different generation than I am. So I'm super excited to see Victoria. And then the other thing that's great about that is that, for audience members that like her, she stays, but it's a wonderful way also to introduce an audience to folks that they can see again and again because these are their hometowns.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and yet another reason I was going to bring this up because, again, whenever you come back to town, you always, you find local comics who are doing, killing it. Victoria Vincent is one of them. You're going to love her. She's great. But you do support and you book the local comics that are here just for that reason. Again, how you are lifting up Chicago comics and continuing your legacy. I'm just goofing all over you. So thank you.
Man, that's cool. But it is it's amazing to feel like there is a part, Los Angeles, living in Los Angeles and being part of the entertainment industry here is so different than how I started.
Yeah.
Right? I started in Chicago, and then before that I was doing improv in Boston. It's about live performance, it's about community, it's about people that you can see right in front of you. So it is a real gift for me to get a chance to experience that again, because out here it's I love being out here, but it's different. It's a job
Yeah.
As opposed to a community.
Yeah, and everybody in LA has some foot into the business, and they're always like, "Who do you know? And what are you doing? What are you working on?" All that stuff, as opposed to, "Hey, we're in a room
Just
together,
hanging.
and I'm going to say some jokes, and you're going to laugh, and we're going to be able to forget about."
It's more pure, more genuine.
Yeah, we're going to be able to forget some things for a while, or we're going to think about things with a new skewed lens through a funhouse mirror, and that's what we appreciate about you, Cameron Esposito.
Before we let you go, quickly, I know we don't have a ton of time, Cameron, but I know you are a graduate of Bennett Academy. You know what went on.
Yes, I do.
And any quick thoughts about how you interpreted what happened and the fallout and the end result?
Well, I mean, I got as involved as it was possible for me to get without taking it over and making it like my thing. You know, Amanda Thomas, who was the coach that was dismissed and then rehired was a year behind me at Bennett. So we weren't like friends, but I know who she is. She played on a basketball team with one of my best friends. And anyway, I just say all that to say that I am really thinking about Coach Thomas right now, because although she has been rehired, this is like a massively traumatic event and really public for people who might not be as used to being public. And I'm really thinking about her. And I'm heartened that the students at Bennett and the alumni and parents had that response, because had the response to protest and to, my parents are in their 70s and they were upset about this. So to sort of get to a chance to see, this is what Catholics think about this now, and not just like 18-year-old Catholics, but like 70-year-old Catholics are saying, like, get your bigotry away from us. This is a school. This is not, when you're going through and testing and making sure that nobody here is divorced and nobody here has had premarital sex, then maybe we can talk about how it's consistent with the Catholic message for you to be anti-gay. But since you don't do that, it actually seems like maybe you're just highlighting and targeting one particular group for humiliation.
Yes.
And that affects, the teachers, it affects the students, and it affected alums like me, So I'll keep speaking about that, and I will speak about that as somebody who even enjoyed going to that school, And so it's that feeling of like, wait, this place that I loved doesn't love me back.
Yeah.
Like, that is a harrowing feeling.
Sure.
And I know so many queer people know that feeling.
Well, you're an important voice.
The truth.
You're an important voice. They need to hear
I
your
felt
voice.
that. I was put on, when I was a teacher, I was put on the don't ask, don't tell policy my first day of teaching.
In
It was
Memphis.
Wow, I am so sorry to hear that.
Thank
It's
you.
so damaging.
Well, but at the same time, then I was like, you know what? What's going to be the best for my students is to be my authentic self. And as the theater teacher, which of course I was the theater teacher, hello, let's live the stereotype. Everybody that I hired was gay. And I was like, okay, come on in. And we're going to have this like 80-year-old man who's going to build our sets. He's gay. We're going to have this set of this lighting designer. She's gay. It was great. So I just did my little subterfuge underneath there. But you get to do things in a much more public and more vocal way. We cannot wait to see you at the Den Theater on October 2nd at 8 p.m. And having the lovely Victoria Vincent open for you. You're going to love her.
I hope you have a couple days here, too. I don't know how long you have, but to explore.
Yeah, I'm going to come in early,
Good.
hang out with my family a little bit.
Awesome.
And also, I will just say, before I sign off, I don't know if y'all are free, but if you would like to come, please, tickets on me. So just let
I've already got my tickets, so I'm there.
Thank you.
I'm there, yes. I was coming into the comedy scene as you were leaving town and rising to meteoric fame, so I cannot wait to see you in person and to hug your neck. Cameron Esposito, again, thank you for bringing so much joy to the world, and thank you for all that you've done here in Chicago and across the country to, help make space and provide space and lift up queer, women, non-binary, BIPOC, all the folks that have been left behind. Thank you for being such a brilliant, funny ambassador and helping us all out.
I hope you have the best day, and you have made...
Great. Well, enjoy your Sunday,
Thanks
and we
for being
can't wait
with
to
us,
see you
Cameron.
Saturday, Cameron. Cameron Esposito.
Safe travels.
There they go. And you know what? You can also, we're going to be giving away tickets right now. We're giving away 3 pairs of tickets to go see Cameron Esposito at the Den Theater on October 2nd at 8 p.m. The first 3 callers to 773-763-9278. Again, that number is 773-763-9278. The first 3 callers will win a pair of tickets to go see Cameron Esposito at the Den Theater on October 2nd. 773-763-9278. We have to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're celebrating all things reeling, so stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
I am Jonesy, host of the Glenn Jones Radio Experience. Saturdays, 5 p.m., WNDZ, 750 a.m. Freeform Music Radio, a thoughtful mix of music for radio lovers. Intimate conversation, a happening, an event. Experience it. Saturdays, 5 p.m. till sunset, 750 a.m. WNDZ.
Windows down, crisp air, and a pleasant breeze. It's time to get into the driver's seat of the new 2021 Porsche Macan from the Porsche Exchange and fly. Featuring a powerful 2.0-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine and all the comfort, technology, and performance you've come to expect from Porsche. Lease your new Macan for just $739 a month for 36 months. Only at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Expect the exceptional. Visit us at 4Porsche.com. The number 4, Porsche.com. $4,079 due at lease inception, plus tax, title, license, and doc fee. No security deposit required. See dealer for details.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. In the 1980s, the AIDS crisis killed thousands of Americans in gay communities. And under President Reagan, the epidemic went unaddressed. To raise awareness, the political group ACT UP decided they needed something big to urge the government and the drug companies to take action. This created the form of protest known today as die-ins, where protesters lay on the ground playing dead to show how dangerous things can be if action is not taken. ACT UP's first die-in took place on October 11th, 1988, outside the Food and Drug Administration building. Some protesters held tombstone signs over their bodies with sayings such as, "Dead from lack of drugs," "Victim of FDA red tape," "Killed by the FDA and never had a chance." After the protest, it took the FDA less than a year to approve drugs to help battle the AIDS virus. ACT UP's die-ins continued throughout the country, taking place outside the Center of Disease Control, outside Wall Street, and outside the vacation home of President George Bush. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code TIME for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code TIME for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TIME.
I'm Heather Vickery with Greatest Expectations. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, Ellen Miller, as we roll along.
And we are
Y'all,
rolling.
I am so excited. Fans of RuPaul's Drag Race, and even if you aren't, because you're not a huge, you haven't watched Drag Race
but
at
I'm
all.
a fan now because I loved learning about Bebe.
I know. You're going to love this new documentary called Being Bebe, which charts 15 years in the life of Bebe Zahara Benet, an immigrant from Cameroon who became the first winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. And joining us now is director of the film, Emily Branham. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's really, really lovely for you guys to have me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for making this film. It is just wonderful. And I loved having a little sneak peek into Marshall's world. Mm-hmm. And it's Marshall Nagawa, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah, Marshall Ngwa.
Ngwa, thank you. Marshall Ngwa. Who
has a number of names, really. Naya Marshall Kuti Ngwa,
yes.
a.k.a. Bebe Zahara Benet.
I know. It's hard to keep up with all of them. So for the purposes of this, I will just refer to Marshall as Bebe, because I'm a huge Drag Race fan. I remember when Bebe was crowned. How did you first encounter Bebe?
Well, I actually first encountered Bebe 3 years before he was on Drag Race. My little sister was dancing backup for Bebe in a local pageant in Minneapolis. I grew up in Minneapolis, and I've lived in New York for about 20 years now, but I grew up there, and I'd been working in Minneapolis on music videos and, concert films and stuff. But when my sister told me about this drag performer that she was dancing backup for in Minneapolis for this local pageant, I was like, that sounds kind of amazing. They're from Cameroon. They're this promising amateur who hasn't really been around much, but she said that he really had something. And so I was like, I want to see what this is about. And I went out and to Minneapolis and saw the local sort of night of pageantry and was blown away.
Yeah, at the Gay 90s. And I've been there.
Exactly, at the Gay 90s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legendary bar in Minneapolis. And So I thought I'd just make a short film about this promising amateur drag queen's journey to their first national drag pageant in Dallas, Miss Gay US of A. And so I borrowed a camera, I got a couple friends, and we thought we'd just shoot this thing that was over this long weekend and maybe a little stuff before and after. But as soon as I got to know Bebe a little bit, I just realized there's so much more there, and I wanted to keep exploring what this thing could be. Unfortunately, he was willing to let me hang around a bit longer, and little did we know that 3 years later he'd end up bursting onto the scene as the first winner of this reality show that nobody knew what it was yet, but it became a cult sensation pretty fast through RuPaul's Drag Race.
Good instincts on your part, for sure.
Totally good. Yeah, it's so great, and I as a fan of Bebe Zahara Benet, I knew about her story. That she was from Cameroon and was in Minneapolis and had risen through the ranks. It was so great to kind of get a peek behind the curtain, especially when the film delves into a little bit of the politics, the LGBTQ politics specifically in Cameroon, and what it's like for queer folks in Cameroon or for Africans living in the United States, what sort of stigma homosexuality is. What was that like for you to go to Cameroon and then to kind of try to document the reality? Because there were a couple moments in the film where Bebe's getting ready and she's talking about you and ask a question about are you gay? I've never asked you. And she's like, no, I'm me. Mm-hmm. And for lots of Cameroonians, it is their family will want them dead, literally want to kill them. What was that like for you?
It was something that gave me a lot of pause, and that I really wanted to make sure that I handled delicately and respectfully and appropriately. And, really what I was wanting to do at the heart of the film was just try to better understand why Bebe is the way Bebe is, because I think, people think that they know who Bebe is from watching this reality show, but she's not like the other drag queens, and she's a very private person, as we sort of feel out a bit. And so I just wanted to better understand why that is and give a little context to why that might be. And to me, the heart of that has to do with where Marshall grew up in Cameroon, and even in the U.S. amongst Cameroonian immigrants, there is still that stigma, like you said, and it's a battle, and the way he navigates that battle, I find endlessly nuanced and interesting, and also a little bit heartbreaking, because to me it comes from a place of feeling unsafe in living out loud in the fullest, and yet he finds a way to live out loud more fully than any of us.
I know.
Well, that's when he puts on the makeup and the costumes and the hair, and it's just the transformation is unbelievable. But one moment that struck me, Emily, was when you asked if he had ever been in love, and that was a really hard question for him. And that was painful for me a little bit to see him kind of struggle with that answer. How about you?
For sure. I mean, Marshall is my friend. We have worked together on this for 15 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think his love life is something that he struggles with, and he didn't really want to address head on in the film. And, we needed to come at it sideways a little bit, but also give context to, why we never see a romantic partner in the film. And, so I don't know. I mean, it's something that, it's such an important part of all of our lives, how we decide to spend our romantic lives, and something we had to address in the film, but wanted to handle delicately along with the sexual identity question. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I noticed about Marshall over time is he was always consistent. When I asked him that question in 2006, he answered it pretty much the same way again in 2021. At the end of the day, I am Marshall. I am me. I don't want to put a label on who I am. And, we could infer reasons for why that is. But at the end of the day, you cannot fault his consistency and his commitment to that identity as one that that refuses all labels. And, you know, like you could argue that he's putting on some kind of a mask with his performance or his character as Bebe, but it's also a way that he can more fully express himself and all the facets of himself. And I don't know. I just found him really, really endlessly fascinating, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, so did I watching.
I thought other people might too.
Yeah, definitely. You accomplished that for sure.
Absolutely. You know, and again, as a fan of said Drag Race, you know, I've always had an appreciation for the artistry that goes behind, you know, particularly with Bebe. But watching the film, we were about a third of the way through, and my partner Jerry just turned and looked at me like, damn, she is a hard worker. Nobody can ever accuse this. I mean,
I'm calling it
it's so weird. Like in terms of, you know, it's so you have this drag superstar, you have a drag queen even before she became, you know, known. Mm-hmm. Who was just determined to have success and was just the drive and the work ethic. She's an immigrant. Like, this is like the immigrant success story, you know, that's now wrapped up in like padding and false eyelashes. You know, what was
so many stones with
so many stones, so many stones. So what was, you know, you've known her, you've been working with her, like you said, professionally, and like as a friendship has developed over the 15 years. What is one of the biggest lessons that Bebe has taught you through creating this film, being Bebe?
Well, I think you're completely hitting the nail on the head that, you know, his work ethic is incredibly admirable, and it's something I related to, honestly, and his persistence, you know, like you have to persist. A creative path does not follow a straight line, but you can, through persistence and, you know, continuing to show up, you know, continuing to keep an open mind and try new things, find a way if you're willing to put the work in and not necessarily leave it to other people to open a door for you, but to find a way to open it for yourself.
Another thing, Emily, that you shined a light on is, you know, we see performers in clubs, in theaters, and a lot of people that aren't intimately familiar with what it's like to be a performer assume that person is well off, they're making money, that they're so secure in what they're doing. And then when you had the scene of Bebe being back in his apartment in New York, a very modest-looking apartment, you know, just fretting over how he's going to make ends meet and seeing how he lived and seeing the loneliness. You know, I think that was an important reveal to show people because, you know, it's such a hard life. No matter if people perceive you're successful, what is that success? What does it really mean in this world? You know, and hopefully people have a better appreciation for artists like Bebe.
Yeah, there are highs and lows, and, you know, but again, as I think we can all relate to, you know, we have good days, we have bad days, we have what we put out to the world when we're in public and how it is when we're back home. And I think it was really important to me to build enough trust with Bebe that he was willing to let me in to those moments because, you know, he's a very determined, confident, and successful person, and he likes showing that to the world, and he's got good reason to. And yet I felt like the more people got to see of the lows as well as the highs, the more they would, you know, come to love him how I have come to love him and appreciate him and identify with him. And, you know, it's real, and it's got to be real. And he completely agreed. Like, in telling his story, he wanted it to be real, to be authentic. And so ultimately he was like, yeah, I need to give you that access.
I certainly came away with that. Yeah, I don't watch Drag Race, but I came away with a real appreciation and love for Bebe and appreciating and respecting everything that he does and has accomplished. It's not an easy life.
No, and one of the things that's really interesting that you do shine a light on, again, it's that whole measure of character. It's like, it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up.
Oh, right.
Type of thing. And definitely, like, that is, I've never seen such a crystal clear example of that mantra because, right now, yes, RuPaul's Drag Race is an international phenomenon. I mean, there you have it in Australia, Great Britain, Spain, Holland, like all over the world. Right now, the cash prizes are, they're exorbitant cash prizes. But as the first on this little dinky show that was on Logo, where the grand prize was $10,000. And there wasn't yes, there was a bit of a platform, and yes, there was a small, there was a cult following of devoted followers and devoted fans. There wasn't the economic opportunities that often come nowadays without the tour and these appearances. And I think the film does a really lovely job of being like, okay, I've won this. Now what? And yeah, and to show that sort of creative spirit. While you were working with him, and as you know him, what do you think? Where does she get that drive from? I mean, where's that spirit? Is it from the family?
It's internal. I mean, his internal drive is unstoppable. I mean, he's always got, a plan and the next thing he's excited to do, or 5 or 6 at any one time. The film focuses on just a few things, but he's done a lot in the past 15 years. We really had to narrow it down. So it's very internal, but I think he would be the first to say that his family inspires him. And, and we tried to show that a bit in the film, just what a tight unit they really are and how much support they give one another. They're in touch daily. And really, as much as they, like any family, might have some internal struggles every once in a while, they all have each other's backs, and they push each other to be the best versions of themselves.
I thought it was so joyful to see. I don't want to give anything away. And by the way, you don't even have to watch Drag Race or know it to see this film and appreciate this film. But when you saw how his parents came around at the end, I had a tear in my eye watching that, and it really gave me hope and happiness for him.
I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah, his family blows me away. I have so much love and respect for them, and I really cared a lot about doing their story justice as much as Marshall's. Even though we have limited time to tell a big story, it was really important to me to show that, because I do think they are so important to who he is and why he is the way he is.
They're interesting people, and they're loving people, and that's really what the world's about. So I appreciate you showing all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm so
happy you didn't feel you needed to be a Drag Race fan as well. It's not a movie about Drag Race.
No, that's why I want people to know.
Like I said, it's an immigrant success story, is what it is. It's like people talking about, coming to the he took every opportunity and created many more opportunities that weren't even there. I mean, it feels almost like the drag version of Rocky.
That's true. That's
a little bit of the underdog. We've got this.
He's mesmerizing. I can't take my eyes. I wanted to see more and more of the performance, because he, the way, like I said, he transforms and is on stage. What he evokes, and it's just amazing. He's really a beautifully talented person.
The charisma is so real. It's just undeniable. And anybody who gets the chance to see him live, I would so encourage it. It's
definitely
always a great experience.
I'd love that opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, people are going to have the opportunity to see this film tomorrow as a part of the Reeling Film Festival. It's screening tomorrow on Monday, the 27th. The film is Being Bebe, and if you want to find out more information about times and about the rest of Reeling Film Festival, go to reelingfilmfestival.org. Emily Branham, thank you so much for taking time out today to join us, and thank you for this
and congratulations
great film. Congratulations
on your accomplishment. It's great.
Thank you guys so much. It's such a joy to talk with you. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the film and your thoughtful read of it.
I mean, 15 years of work going into something. That's what we have to remember with documentarians. It is definitely a marathon. So, congratulations on the film, and we hope nothing but good things for you and, of course, for Bebe Zahara. So, Emily Branham, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Take care, Emily.
Thank you both so much. I appreciate your time.
All right, and there she goes. Cameroon. Cameroon.
Very entertaining.
I know. I feel so bad for Bebe because, well, I mean, it's wonderful, that people know where Cameroon is now, but it was all because of RuPaul. Every time that she would come out, she would go, Cameroon! Which is wonderful. So go check it out. Again, the film is being Bebe. It screens as a part of Reeling Film Festival tomorrow, Monday the 27th. I think it's at like 9. But go if you want to. Don't take my word for it. Go to reelingfilmfestival.org for the full schedule and make sure you check it out. We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking with founder and artistic director of M.A.D.D Rhythms, Bril Bennett. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Think Theory Radio.
Dr. Hande Ozdinler, she is a neuroscientist, but also an artist.
It seems as the larger we go, like, the galaxy, the sky, and then also as small as we go, right? The nanostructures, the atomic interactions or cellular interactions. There is so much resemblance, like there is a secret or there is an unspoken symmetry.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
You can have your prescriptions brought to your door with free 1 to 2 day delivery from your local CVS. Or get same-day delivery. Or just swing by and pick them up on the way home from the doctor. Because that ear infection can't wait. While you're here, get your questions answered and put your mind at ease. Because there are still some things you just can't get in a cardboard box. That's healthier made easier from CVS. Not all prescriptions eligible for delivery. Restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com/delivery for details.
Let's just take that out of your mouth.
At Ping's Pre-K, the growing enrollment is no play date.
The toilet is not a closet.
She needs more teachers certified in early childhood development.
Is it nap time yet? Lunch?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday. You're a veteran who served our country and can use a VA loan to either purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, but you don't know who you can trust. Team Hochberg respects your service and has VA loan experts available right now to answer your questions and help you secure a VA loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners secure VA loans, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Kick off the season with huge savings at Hawk Volkswagen on Jefferson Street in Joliet. And now is the time to save big on a huge selection of new Volkswagen models like Jetta, Tiguan, Atlas Cross Sport, and the all-new Taos. We've got over 20 of each in stock, all the hard-to-find trim levels and colors, ready for immediate delivery. 0% financing for 72 months is available right now on new 2021 Volkswagen models, and no one will pay you more for your trade-in. Service, selection, and a first-class experience. That's why we've been the #1 Volkswagen dealer in Illinois for the last 5 years in a row. Thank you to all of our customers who've chosen to do business with us over the past 5 years. It's only possible because of you, and we look forward to providing an outstanding customer experience for years to come. If you haven't experienced Hawk VW for yourself, now is a great time. Hawk Volkswagen on Jefferson Street in Joliet, online at hawkvw.com. Available on selected Volkswagen models with approved credit is driven by Volkswagen Credit. See dealer for details on warranty based on 2016 through 2020 retail sales. Expires 10/4/21.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, as we roll along through the thrilling final show-stopping moments about Chicago. But I want to give a big old shout-out of congratulations to Paula, Cameron, and Michael. They all won tickets to go see Cameron Esposito.
Cameron won tickets for Cameron.
Won tickets for Cameron. I love that.
I really wish I could go. I've got a memorial for one of my dear friends that night.
No,
yeah,
goodness.
It's a celebration of his life. One of my best friends that passed away. Because I would be at the Den Theater. Because I watched. I went on YouTube and just last night, like late, I was watching some Cameron skits. She does one about her period.
Oh,
ladies.
She's great.
Oh my God.
Her
I've
whole
never
set
heard
about
anybody talk about it like that, and it was really great. And
when
really
she
funny.
had her reverse mullet. It was her side mullet.
Yeah.
Going on. I mean, she's been on Conan.
Yeah.
You know, she's
on
great.
Conan,
Yeah. Her set on from Conan when she's talking about denim. Lots of denim and side mullets. But anyway, Cameron Esposito is going to be in Chicago at the Den Theater this coming Saturday on October 2nd.
And the Den is a great
It's a
place.
great venue.
Really turned that spot into just an amazing venue for sure. The different stages and there's a bar and coffee shop and just the young man that started it. He had a vision, man. I remember when I went to the very first. I think Bus Stop was one of the first shows they did there. A friend of mine was in it.
Well, the Den Theater, they have now changed the configuration of it.
I
So
know.
it's specifically they're doing it's mostly comedy that's coming through there. Actually, Maria Bamford's going to be coming
wonderful.
as well. We're going to be giving away Maria Bamford tickets too. What?
We need comedy.
We do need comedy. We do need comedy right now.
After the year and a half we've been through.
Yeah. Speaking of comedy and things that we needed, did you check out the Emmys that were last week?
Yeah, I did. I went overnight to some friends in New Buffalo, and they don't have much of a TV. You had to watch on. They have a TV now, but they don't. They had to plug it in. And I go, can we watch the Emmys? Because I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
I loved it too. I know you were texting me during it. We were on we started later. We were recording it, and you're like, your show what? I'm like, what show? Which one? I was like,
see, I didn't want to be too.
I know, it was great. Thank you for no spoilers.
Just in case.
But speaking of RuPaul, RuPaul's Drag Race won again,
and he's the most winning gay.
No,
isn't he?
Black. He is the most. He's earned the most Emmys of any black artist in the history.
That's amazing.
Yes, talk about a success story. I'm fascinated by RuPaul Charles. Just fascinated by that person.
Did you see when he hosted Jimmy Kimmel a few weeks ago?
I didn't see. I know.
Oh, that was really good too.
Yeah. Because who was one of the queens was on? I think Simone, the most recent winner.
Yeah.
Simone was on, who's also just look out. She's gorgeous. But I mean, talk about a story of perseverance and of vision and. I'm thinking about the Bebe Zahara's mom, in air quotes, in Minneapolis before she was going off to Drag Race. Be like, you deserve this, and you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
like that whole that's
cool.
your mantra. Those are the two things that you need to be saying. You deserve this, and you've got nothing to lose. And that's what RuPaul Charles has done. I mean, RuPaul has gone from this punk musician, I'm going to put musician in huge quotes there, in Atlanta to taking over the world. I mean,
has a vision and went for it.
Drag Race is, I mean, there are some interesting, I think, some of the political things, and
all these shows
he is able to like grow and learn from his experiences, and clearly there is so much therapy. I'm assuming you don't listen to his podcast with Michelle Visage, but he's gets a little,
wonky.
Not wonky, just very much that's a little woo woo, a little like
the wrong
hippy dippy.
Yeah, okay.
Very much, I've done the work sort of.
Well, when you get to
vibe.
a level like that, you have to have something to ground you because it's you've seen entertainers and. You're on stage, you get elevated, you start out with something small that ends up huge, and it's good to bring things down to a level where you're grounded and thoughtful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's great, but it's, I love RuPaul. I just love RuPaul. I think she's just fabulous. So there we go. So
I enjoy RuPaul
but
as
that
well.
was like, so you need to start watching this show. I'm telling you.
I know. I've hardly watched any television.
I know,
but
it's a little tricky now
fall.
because they're on it's on parent. They keep moving it.
Oh.
That's the thing, because it was on Logo, then it went to VH1,
right.
And it was on VH1 for a while, but then I think they got a snazzy little offer from Paramount Plus.
Okay.
So you had to get Paramount Plus for the last thing of All Stars.
Oh my God, there's so many things to subscribe to. It's insane.
I know, so we stopped.
So how are you watching it?
There's also a thing called World of Wow Presents, or Wow Presents. It's World of Wonder. It's a production company that pretty sure the RuPaul is a part of, and they do it's nothing but drag queen content, like from all of the shows. So you can stream it there. I'll send you a password.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send you a password.
I was hoping you would say
But I thought, like, the Emmys, They were fine. It was good. Everybody white and British won.
I know.
It was nothing but white and British.
The one, who was the one African American woman?
Michaela.
Yeah, she was
for that
show that I didn't watch.
Well, that's not good. I forget her name. Oh, darn it! Now you
I
made
know.
me.
I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Darn it! Why now you're making me look things up, Michaela? It's like so. This, but there we are. It's I May Destroy You. That's
I May Destroy You.
Yes,
right.
people love that show.
They
yes,
love that.
she won for best writing for a drama series. It's intense.
And I am a Ted Lasso fan, so I loved that
I'm
they won.
so happy that Ted Lasso won all the stuff. A huge Ted Lasso fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, this was a very diverse year.
Yes,
it was kind of a shame that it kept going to and to The Crown, and to Ted Lasso. If you were white and British, here, take the prize.
Yeah, but The Crown. Everybody that I Kathy watches it. I don't, but people just love it.
People love it, and no, I get it.
I hear about The Crown and Ted Lasso. A friend of mine, last year talked about Ted Lasso before it was huge, and now everybody's talking about Ted Lasso. People pass me on the sidewalk; they're talking about Ted Lasso. So those are popular shows that people love. So it's hard not to honor them.
Oh, absolutely.
But I understand.
I'm down with that. But it was just a little. Come on now. Come on. Emmy's so white.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot.
They always have been.
I know. We're trying to fix that, though.
I know. Thankfully, there were, like you said, there were more nominees that were diverse, but they didn't win. Hopefully next time there'll be more nominees that are diverse that actually win. So that would be nice.
Yes. And then, of course, tonight are the Tonys.
Tonight are the Tonys. There hasn't been a Tony Awards for 27 months, I heard, and most of the shows, so I hope that people,
there wasn't theater last year.
So they're going to honor the ones that were on beforehand.
From 2 years ago.
So who knows who remembers them, and if they're ever going to be back mounted again. Maybe those that win will get another chance. Those that don't may not. They say Jagged Little Pill is not selling tickets. If they win tonight, it'll give it a shot in the arm. If it doesn't, it could be curtains. So
I know.
Well, it'll be interesting.
It will be interesting.
I'll be at the Berwyn Blues Festival at Fitzgerald's. It starts at 1:00 today. Some of the greatest blues artists in Chicago and from around the country. It's a nice festival. Support local music and
great.
Yeah, check that out.
Awesome. And I will be actually at the Comedy Bar tomorrow, the 27th at 8:00.
On Monday.
On a Monday. Yeah, I'm doing a show there, doing a little show there. So come check us out. And that brings us to the end of another Out Chicago.
Yes,
I want to thank all of our guests. Brian Johnson, Emily, why can't I find her name? Emily Branham. Sorry. And Cameron Esposito. And congratulations to all of our winners. We sure do love you, Devin. You're doing an amazing job. We sure do tolerate you, Paul. You're doing a very mediocre job and doing the best that you possibly can under all the circumstances. Ellen Miller, I'm so glad to see you and have fun at Blues Fest today.
You have a great day yourself.
Thank you so much. And I'm Scott Duff. And until next week, stay proud.
Think Theory